Hello, my name is Eldon Matlick. I'm the professor of horn at the University of Oklahoma, and I'm making instructional videos for the 2016-17 Texas All-State Honor Ensembles and Area Auditions. Purpose of this is to slow things down and to show you and give you strategies for how to iron these things out. This exercise is the clinic for exercise 48. I believe this is the third audition example that they want you to play. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's agility, there's range, there's a lot of finger busting techniques in here, and there's a lot for us to cover. The first thing that you see right out of the chute is this aggressive triadic leap up to high C and back down. What I recommend you first do is find the pitch and buzz it. Work on getting a nice big buzz, and which means a good amount of wind, and really allow the center of your lip to create maximum vibration. Now from there we're going to slowly go through this first 4-measure section. Notice how consistent I was with the wind. It's okay if you need to take a breath or two in here. That's fine for right now. Try to get the transition a little bit more liquid or glissy. Like that. Another thing that will help you is the lower of the notes. Give a little bit more energy so that you can spring up like a trampoline and get the higher note. Next, we're going to put the horn together and then play it slowly as written. You notice the slurs make a little different pulse than a regular 6/8. It almost sounds like there's a 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Make sure that you're using enough energy on the second note of each slur. Ta-ha, ta-ha, ta-ha. That was my problem that last time, getting up to that G. Didn't have quite enough energy. Then you can gradually get it faster. Now if you're having difficulty getting up to that high C, remember this: the higher the note that you play in your range, two things happen. One, the airstream goes out further. You need to blow deep into the horn, blow the note out. Secondly, when I'm playing really high, I use my lower abdominal muscles a little bit more to pull the note out up and through the horn. So the higher I go, the more in my abdominal cavity I reach down and bring up the note. So the area right underneath my belt, I'm tucking that muscle in and up, sort of kicking it up so I can get that high C, as well as I'm moving the note stream forward and I always think ooh when I'm up in my extreme upper range, not M, but ooh. That keeps the airstream nice and fat and ringing. Makes for a lot better success. The ensuing patterns that come up from 6 to 12, it seems when I hear people play this, they slow the tempo down right here. Be careful. Even though the first 2 or 3 bars is actually technically a little bit more physical to get, what happens is that people bog down on their fingers. And maybe it's caused by getting the tongue too heavy. So here's a solution that you can do. First of all, get a metronome going, and we're going to get a very friendly tempo right here. Let's put up 90. And we're going to do a different trick. This is from some of the European brass players. Sometimes they practice with articulation and the wind by playing half valve. I know it's going to sound crazy, but it works really quite well. So I'll play the first 2 lines with just buzzing my lip into a half valved instrument. Now, before we go on, let's put subdivision on with this. What we're going to do now is practice with the fingers, that passage starting in the G. And we're going to get rhythm in our fingers. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now with that, we're going to blow an air pattern. So we're going to coordinate the tongue and the fingers. We're not going to physically play, we're just going to do it all here. 1, 2, with me. Okay. Now, I'm going to put it together. 1, 2. Another thing that I hear some of the younger players do, they try to play this too tight and dry. It really, first of all, is unmusical. And I think that makes you tighten up a little bit. So, it does have staccato, but think of this as a lighter articulation rather than a mark of duration or punctuality. And then nice lean on the sforzandi. And if that's too fast, which it very well may be, you can slow this way down. There's no shame in playing things very, very slowly. So even then, there was a little glitch, but you understand what I'm talking about. Then when you put it together with a very opening, that way you're getting the relationship of tempo, between the opening and then the hemiola pattern that starts on measure 6. Now let's look at the pickup to 13 ending into 16. It's a pretty acrobatic passage. You leap up to the A, and then the A leads to G, and so forth, going all the way down, but then you have some lower notes. What I suggest you do is to regroup these things to where you have the first group is the first 3 notes, C, A, C. Just practice that until that becomes predictable. A little faster. A little faster. A little faster. Then, on the next series of notes, look at notes that go downward. So you have 3 notes starting on the 3rd, 8th note of 13. A, G, C, then you have G, F, G, then F, E, C, G, and so forth. So practice those sequences very slowly. So you have all these sequences. So keep them separated, but then try them a little faster. One more time. Then put it all together, but still think of those groups. It'll make the execution a lot easier. And now you're back to the first figure that we've already done. Measure 20, 22, 23 is the same as what has happened before. But measure 24, you have a transitionary figure where you have additional notes. And that repeats again. One thing that you can do, and I'll use starting at measure 20 as an example, just play the notes that change. In fact, I'm going to get the triplets off of here. It's an interesting little offbeat section. Now, if you put the repeated notes in, still bring out the notes that change, or the melody notes. Now, right here at 27 to 30, resist the temptation to start pulling back the tempo. Make it slower and slower. Nothing indicates this, so you need to make sure that you're moving right ahead. I don't know if the judges would take off on that or not. I know that that would certainly raise a question in my assessment of the person. So be careful. At 27 through 29, you're keeping that absolutely steady. And now we're back into yet another little melody. It seems to make a little bit of sense because this section at 31 is a little different aesthetic, that it might want to relax tempo just a bit. Again, there is some musical reasoning behind this, but still I would keep this tempo nice and steady. But you can still change the style. It's a more lilting style, and I would bring out the chromaticism. That's another dangerous spot at 46. Same thing. Don't let the tempo relax. The problem is that how in the world, if you've slowed it down twice, are you going to get back to tempo primo, which is clearly what's happening at 50. Also, did you notice how I was bringing out the accents? I was actually accentuating them. Da 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 dee. Da 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 da. Especially when you're in a real fast tempo, you're going to need to do that. Okay, this is in the upper 90s, and I'm going to play starting at 24. Faster, but still trying to keep the same light lilt. Think of the staccato dots as a mark of lightness rather than punctuation. Now I'm going to move it a little bit faster, and I'm going to start thinking about this more in one. And so we're back again at that hemiola chromatic. There is a retard finally at 59. Go ahead and take that. Several other opportunities have presented themselves, but you really shouldn't until it's actually printed. I would really do the letter of the law on these. There is a passage that's a little bit tricky at 67 through 69. Gallay sets a pattern up, and you think it's going to continue, but it doesn't. Yeah, he adds that A, and that's problematic. I've seen lots of young players miss this already. So be ready to play that A natural and bring it out. If you do that, it makes more sense. A little faster. Then now once you get it in your ear, it's easy. One more time, even quicker. He does do a pattern on 71 through 73, and he does keep that intact, so that's no problem right there. At the very end, be careful that you keep it nice and steady and look at the patterns. And at the very end, it's just like you're washing your hands out of the whole thing. That's it. I hope that some of my comments might help you in your preparation. Remember, practice slowly. The best musicians, the top fly artists, when confronted with technically challenging music, they will take things slow. even ridiculously slow. I know some professionals, when they're working on Mozart, even though they've played it maybe dozens of times, they're brushing it up again. They'll slow it down to about 60 or 72 with the eighth note subdivision, just so they're rhythmically accurate and are right on top of those fast scales. If it's good enough for them, it's certainly good enough for me, and I know it's good enough for you. Good luck on progressing on this exercise, and I wish you the best. Thank you very much for allowing me to talk to you about this.